Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how to make a bishop sleeve with any sleeve you've got at home. The reason I'm doing this video is because Emily, who lives in the UK and works with my patterns a lot and actually has really helped to design the Isabella dress, she said, you need a long sleeve and I want a bishop sleeve. And of course, I was so short of time, I didn't do it. But now she's made one and I think it's fantastic. So I thought what I'll do for everyone that wants to get going right now, I'm going to show you how you can draft it yourself. It's very simple. All you need is a sleeve from a different pattern that is long and possibly not too gathered at the top, preferably a plain sleeve head, one that isn't gathered at the top or has a very light gather only. If you're working with different patterns, this is the Virginia and this is the Isabella, then what you need to do, you need to make sure that the sleeve fits in first of all. So I've taken the same size, 3 to 4 here, and that's the 3 to 4 bodice from a different pattern. And what you need to do is simply pin the pattern together along this line here, centimeter seam allowance, open it out, and then you take the sleeve that you've chosen and we're just going to see if that actually fits in, because the armhole for a dress like this might be completely different to a blouse which is meant to sit a lot looser. So what you want to do is put your sleeve on like this, and what you can see here is that I would have to literally go up to here before that even fits on there. You can tell it doesn't really fit very well. And you would have a massive amount in this area up here, which you don't really want. So what I would suggest is that you start at the top, right? And you go down, move around with your finger or a pen. You could use a pen as well. I can do it with a pen here. Go on the 1 centimeter mark and you go down to here. And where that ends, that's where it would go in completely flat. Yeah, that's never a good thing. So if you then add a 1 centimeter to this, that would be what will make the sleeve round. You get where you need your sleeve to start. And I'm going to do the same to the other side now, so we can see that as well. So I go on the sleeve head 1 centimeter over, whoops, and I go down. Okay, there we are. Goes to approximately there. And if I add a centimeter to that, I've got a tiny bit that I could cut off here as well. Okay, I'm just going to take a little bit off the back here, evenly, of my sleeve. And I'm going to do the same on the top here, evenly all the way down. And then I know that what I've got here now, this area there is going to fit perfectly into my bodice. The swing is really lovely. You want it cut away quite a bit in the front because that makes the sleeve not look like there's too much fabric there. And at the back, you want more fabric because the sleeve has to roll around. And so you can see here, we've got more fabric, and here you can see we've got a little bit less fabric. And then you want to fold over the sleeve to the other point on the other side that you were doing. Draw that in so that you are cutting both exactly the same. And then we're going to cut this sleeve on this side as well. Before we do the sleeve, I just want to introduce you to this book here from Vinnie Aldrich, which I use a lot. This is for ladies, but you can also get it for children's wear, which is really nice. It shows you pattern drafting. Here I want to just show you this chapter on sleeves, which I think is fantastic because you can see here the bishop sleeve and you can see how it fans out at the lower edge down here. We're also going to have to put a little bit more of a curve in to get the bishop sleeve, but you can see we're just going to slash the sleeve and we're going to fan it out. But this book really is fantastic. If you want it, go get it. You can get it anywhere on Amazon. Before we want to adapt this sleeve, we need to do the sleeve length. And the sleeve length, Emily, who designed this, told me is 34 centimeters. What she wanted to avoid is to have like a sleeve that goes to there and then goes poof, flat, yeah, and then you have the long cuff. She wanted something that poofed a little bit over that long cuff, and so she worked out that 34 was pretty perfect, which is here. Now I've already marked it on my pattern, but you then can mark it, of course, in that point as well. And that means that if you're making this with the Virginia sleeve 7 to 8, for example, you can then go down here. You can see it's 5 centimeters, and you just take off 5 centimeters, and that will be the same for every size. Yeah, because the sleeve will get longer and longer. The amount we cut off to get this brilliant sleeve, effectively cutting off the cuff, is 5 centimeters. So now I'm going to just remove that to get my perfect cuff. What you want to do now is you want to put the lines in where we're going to split our pattern, and you want to put one line directly on the middle. You can see I've just put one in there. It's wrong. It needs to be on the middle. And the way you find your middle is to simply fold over your sleeve, crease it, and then draw in there. And then I want to divide that distance to the side here by 3, so I can have 2 more lines in it. And what is that? That is just over 10, so 3 and a bit. This doesn't have to be super accurate, so I'm going to go for 3.5 and then 3.5 again. And what I do now is I'm going to like draw these lines up. And I have to confess to you that when I do this on my own, I just cut some lines in there. All right, let's do it properly, right? Right. So I've drawn the lines in here, and here on this side. And now I do it on the other side. I mark 3.5 and 7. And now I'm just going to draw those lines right down. Come on, where's this? I keep getting stuck there. And of course, if you've got like a really nice set square like I do here, it's really easy to move it over and get it right. Now I'm going to cut right to the top here, but we're not going to cut it off, right? That's really important. We're just going to cut to the top. And now the magic happens, and I think this is really exciting. I'm happy to show this to you. What happens now when I just move this out is that I get a lot more volume in here. What you also see is that, let's do this back together, that this shape, it changes. So you can't just have a sleeve which just goes out like that. That will not look very nice. You need to actually fan it out. Now, one thing that you might want to bear in mind when you're making a sleeve, that in this area you want less gather, but at the back you can have more. So when you fan them out, you don't fan them out evenly. You fan out less in the front and more in the back. And we're going with the Vinnie Aldrich here, and her ratio is 4, 4, 8, 8, 8. Yeah, so basically you're doing the ratio of 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, right? Now it's a children's sleeve, so you need to decide how wide you want it to be at the lower edge. I'm not going to use the same here as Vinnie Aldrich used for the adult sleeve. I'm going to pare this down to not 4 centimeters, but 3 centimeters and 6 centimeters at the back. Now I'm going to start with the first one, and we're going to split this 6 centimeter. That's the center, right? And we're going to do 3 here and 3 there. So 6 centimeters. You want to measure this out and then sellotape it, right? So we've got 6 in between here. and I'm sellotaping that together. There we go. And that's my first one done. So the next one, I'm going to do 3 centimeters and 3 centimeters. And now we're going to do another one, and we're going to measure the 3 centimeters, come over to this point here. Excellent. And sellotape it down. And the reason we do less in the front is because we have less to come round. From the back we need more because the arm will come round there and it'll look nice in the silhouette. What you don't want is lots of gathers underneath here, right? Now we're going to do the other side, and here we're going to go for 6 as well, the same as we did in the center. We are fanning out more towards the back. So now I'm going to go to 6 centimeters. And I'm going to put my coffee on here. I had my lunch break in between. You don't notice these things. I went out for lunch and now I have two little splashes of chili on my top. Okay. And now I'm going to do the last one here. Again, it's 6 centimeters. And that's basically my bishop sleeve. Now, if you remember, when we started, I said we need to have it a little bit lower at the back because, again, we have the rounding which comes over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically do this freehand. We want to come up from the front and then over the center, you come down in like that, and I'm going to just measure how much I did that. Oh, it's about 1.5 centimeters down. I think that's probably for this is enough. So you can see here that we've got this line. This is 1.5 centimeters deeper. You could make it a little bit flatter. You know, I think this is not super pressing as long as it does have that extra little bit here. And now I can just cut this. And you can cut away the rest of the paper so it's not in the way. If you're making your sleeve with a tight jersey cuff or ribbing or something like that, which works really well as well, then you don't need to put a slit in. If you're using a woven cuff, then you do, and you need to know where that slit goes, and I'm going to show you where now. Divide your sleeve by 4. Okay, so if I did that, I've got 45 divided by 4 is roughly 11. So if I go over here, that will be right there, right in the middle of that one. I think I want it a little bit more over. So what I would do if I was you guys is, like, if you have split it exactly like I have with the doing the thirds here, then it's not that edge. I'll just come in a little bit off that edge to put your slit in. And then the slit height, it just needs to be so that it's very comfortable to get in and out, and that it's easy to sew. And that's about 2 inches, which is 5 centimeters. Don't forget we have a centimeter seam allowance, and that would be a very poxy little one. I think you want a 2-inch slit from the seam allowance, which is in centimeters, 6 centimeters, right? So you want to come up 6 centimeters so that you get a decent slit. That's where the slit needs to go. And that was it for the sleeve. Now we're going to look at the cuff. Now for my cuff, I'm using, again, the Virginia cuff, but if you have to draw the cuff, you want it to be 11 centimeters in height across here. And we're going to cut that 4 times. Alternatively, you could cut it 2 times and cut along here on the fold, right? You could do that too. And then the width of this, we're going to shorten the cuff a bit. And the amount you need to shorten your cuff by, if you're working with any of the Virginia sizes, is 2 centimeters. For everyone that's making one, for the 3 to 4, it should be 20 centimeters. Let's say this again. We're going to cut off 2 centimeters of our turned up cuff. So it's fairly simple to do, and you can get started on that. So I'm going to cut this off. And that's it really for drafting a bishop sleeve. Now I'm going to also show you in another video how to put this bishop sleeve together. But this video is finished now because you know how to do it. And if you want to get either of those patterns, the links are in the description. And there's also a link for the Isabella dress that I would like you to use to purchase the Isabella. And well, I see you in the next video where we're going to learn how to put the bishop sleeve together.